Natalie Friedl, Executive Director of the Kids Book Bank. We are celebrating our 10th birthday this year, and we're excited to connect with old friends and new friends each month, not only to provide updates, but to shine a light on some of the activities that are changing the narrative of literacy in Cleveland. So within my first month or so of working with the Kids Book Bank, there were a couple things that stuck out to me. One, we were in a really small place, trying to do a lot of work, and it impacted our ability to be efficient and productive and as impactful as we could. But we solved that problem in October of 2026 or 2025, when we moved here into our new home in the Jefferson Puritas neighborhood. So some of you may remember us from our Midtown location, and we invite you to come and see us in our new location. Another thing that I noticed is that we didn't have a lot of kids at the Kids Book Bank. If they were there, usually they were coming in to drop off books. They've done a book drive for us. And then sometimes we would have them in as 8-year-olds at a family volunteer day. And then 13 and over would come to volunteer. But we're looking forward to changing that and having more kids come into the Kids Book Bank. But if you want to know more about that, you got to stay connected with us for updates. And then finally, we always had an amazing flow of volunteers. In the old space, it was about 20 volunteers a shift, 2 to 3 times a day. And now we're up to over 40 volunteer groups, individuals, corporations, civic groups, faith-based organizations that come in and volunteer with us. And we are so excited that some of those individuals are here with us today. I share all of this with you because we can't possibly do what we do, which is distribute 50,000 free books to kids for in-home libraries through the donations, community donations of books, community volunteers that come in and help us process those books, and then our partners that help us distribute those books. And everybody gets it because children who have books in their home are better set up for academic and lifetime success. And so we are so excited to have all of the volunteers that we have, including our amazing friends from the Cuyahoga Developmental Disabilities with us today that are going to highlight our amazing partnership that we have with them and how others can do the same. So I would love to introduce Janet Keeler she's the Division Manager of Community Development at Cuyahoga Developmental Disabilities. Hi, Janet. Thanks for joining us. Please tell us a little bit more about yourself and your role and what the Cuyahoga Developmental Disabilities does.
Yes, for sure. So good morning, everybody. I am Janet Keeler, and as introduced, I'm the Director of Community Development, which is a very new department here at the board, relatively speaking. I've been here 30 years. I'm a licensed psychologist by trade, but have moved in my 30 years at the board to the current position that I'm in. Which is one of the real perks of working here at Cuyahoga DD. There's lots of opportunities for internal and upward mobility. Our organization was established in 1967, so we have a big birthday coming up next year too. And today we exist as the largest nonprofit organization in Cuyahoga County that exclusively serves people with DD. Our mission is to support and empower people with developmental disabilities to live, learn, work, and play in the community. Our services are partially funded by Medicaid waivers and local levy dollars. And I'm really proud to say that 90% of this funding goes to services and programs that are directly for people with developmental disabilities. Last year, 2025, was the 20th anniversary of our last levy. So 2/3 of our budget comes from a continuous levy that was last passed by voters in 2005. 2005. So you'll see that we're good stewards of tax dollars still working on a levy 20 years later when that levy was only supposed to last 10. So we're very proud of that. We're also proud that each year we serve over 15,000 infants, children, adults, and older adults with developmental disabilities, which is a 20% increase from 2005. We use those monies to provide services like early intervention, therapies like occupational, physical, and speech and language therapy. We provide consultative services to support students in the schools, transition services for young adults, housing, employment supports, and we also help your community's business, any business in your community, to maximize their accessibility and inclusion in their physical spaces, services, and hiring. And so I saw that our website is in the chat, so feel free to click on that and check it out.
Thank you. Yeah, we were so excited when we found our forever home, but we knew it needed some work, right? We have our wonderful groups that come in, and we wanted it to be accessible and welcoming for everyone. And we weren't really sure where to start. So we reached out to you guys, and we had no idea how helpful you would be in helping us look at our space, provide suggestions, and actually look at our renovation plans and make sure that they met requirements. In addition to that, you offered a gracious financial contribution so that we could cover some of those costs, and also donated a universal changing table to our ADA compliant bathroom. So we are so grateful. Do you want to share a little bit about that process so people can find out how they can get their space or other investments that you guys make in partners?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Our levy funding that I mentioned earlier also allows us to make strategic investments in the community, like our partnership with the Kids Book Bank. Since 2021, and that's like right about when I started this department. So like I said, we're very new. We've been and have granted over $1 million to support over 65 community libraries, arts and culture organizations, and recreation organizations so that they can make their programs and physical spaces accessible to all people of all abilities. So every year we release our request for proposals the first week of January. We have virtual information sessions soon after in January, and we award grants in early March. So the news of this year's grants are coming out really, really soon. This year we awarded over $190,000 in community grants for projects such as universal changing tables, inclusive plays and musicals, and accessible playground equipment. So if anyone has any questions about our grant cycle, what we grant, who's eligible, please contact me directly and we'll make sure that my email is in the chat.
Thank you. Yeah, it was such a gift. We love having groups come out and volunteer. It's such a unique and special part of the work that we do. What makes our Cuyahoga developmental disabilities unique in terms of other counties or other programs that you're aware of?
Yeah, for sure. Well, we are the largest county board in the state of Ohio, both in terms of the number of employees, but also the number of people served. And we are, not to brag, but I'm going to, we are known throughout the state DD system as being very innovative, very forward thinking, ahead of other counties in many ways. And related to inclusion, I think what makes us great is that since 2020, we've created this dedicated community development department that engages with the community on all things inclusion and access. And frankly, many other counties haven't seen that. And there's sort of historical thinking, right? Their customers are people with disabilities and families and their providers. And we look at it a little more like an open system. I think our customers are those people for sure, but also our customers are the community. And the more we help the community be more inclusive and accessible, the more we meet our mission. So we started a nonprofit also called the Employment Collaborative of Cuyahoga County, which has 90 partners bringing together businesses that are vetted by us, that are interested and eager to hire people with disabilities, and those job seekers and those employment providers who are looking for work. And so we bring them all to the table. Everybody shares job leads, everybody shares job openings, and we make that match a lot sooner than it happened before. We also created our online resource guide to inclusive jobs, places, and events that highlights all of our partners and their programs and events, and we market them for free for them, as well as those vetted businesses that are eager to hire. So that online resource guide is a really great planning tool for individuals, for families, especially for providers who are looking for things to do in the community that are inclusive and accessible. Finally, we have a volunteer coordinator who looks for places like the Kids Book Bank. We volunteered there before, where people with DD are not just welcomed, but celebrated. She also looks for any business in the community who may have their own day of service or volunteer day and connects them to our own family and advocacy events to volunteer. So all of that stuff that I just said makes us great in terms of inclusion, but it also helps people live their best lives and demonstrates Cuyahoga DD's commitment to being a resource for their community. And different places are on different parts of their journey towards inclusivity and accessibility, but we are there to help everybody along that journey. And so I think in the chat, you'll find a link to our online resource guide. So please check that out.
Yeah. Well, it sounds amazing. And I know I like to say, we're one of the best places to volunteer for sure. So I appreciate Cuyahoga County should be loud and proud of all of the things that we have. But I'm sure there's a few things that on your wish list, right?
Yes.
Things that could make things better. What are some of those?
I would say my number one thing, being around for this long at Cuyahoga DD, I think to make us even better is that we used to say that, I remember back in the day, we are the best kept secret, right? No organization, the Cleveland Book Bank, the Kids Book Bank, do not want to be the best kept secret. We need to continue to focus on community awareness and community partnership because those help people become more familiar with the board, our values, and our services. And this, of course, then builds trust, better engagement with the community, and ultimately helps us reach more people and serve the DD community better.
And as far as literacy goes, do you think that we have the resources to support the education and academic needs of the developmental disabilities community? And how could the Kids Book Bank and other partners support those efforts?
I think it's a lot of collaboration among people who are like-minded and like-missioned, right? I think supporting our schools in literacy, especially I think supporting our families with literacy is important because that stuff will happen in the school, but we know being reinforced at home would be key. So I really do think it's a conversation between all of those organizations out there that are doing the same work and trying to tackle that issue together.
Yeah, and I love that, we've already talked about how the Cuyahoga Developmental Disabilities team can do book drives for the book bank, and we can have book distribution as well. And certainly all of our groups, I think we have some special guests here today that can tell us, they go home with books. They love to take books home. So it's great. So how else can people engage to make this a more inclusive community? You've mentioned some things. We definitely want to give maybe like one or two tips, like what could somebody do today to make their experience more inclusive, like, or whether it's a partner that has a program or an individual that's volunteering. What can we do? I know websites are a thing as well. Maybe talk about some of those.
Yeah, this is what I'd say. There are 33,000 businesses in Cuyahoga, and in my lifetime and my staff's lifetime, we will never get to all of those businesses. We just don't have the capacity. So I think the best way for anybody listening would be to, if you see something, say something, right? If you notice a handicapped parking sign, let the business know that we don't call people handicapped anymore, and we don't have phrases like handicapped parking anymore. If you notice trash cans that are blocking entryways or entryways without hands-free door, let the business know. For us, particularly at the board and for the online resource guide, if you know of a place that you frequent that is inclusive, let us know. We will reach out and put them on the online resource guide and give them some free marketing and publish their flyers. Similarly, if you have had experiences where the place wasn't very friendly or wasn't very inclusive, that's also something we want to know because we could reach out and help them become more so. We know there's 25% of people in Cuyahoga County have some kind of disability. And if businesses are not considering their buildings and their programs and their services, they're potentially excluding 25% of their customers. I'm going to put two resources in the chat, and they are well, actually, they we can send them, right, Natalie? They have two handouts that we could send. One is an inclusion card that really highlights three basic things anybody can do, children, adults, older adults, that they can do to be more inclusive. And the other is a list of our free accessibility services. So that could be inclusion consulting, disability etiquette training, accessibility walkthroughs, referrals to our community partners for formal ADA assessments, those really big hundreds and hundreds of page assessments, and then skilled one-on-one employment matching. And we are so happy to help anybody in the community to make that dream happen.
I love it. It makes my heart so warm, and I do. I everywhere I go, and it has happened more so since coming on board here at the Kids Book Bank, who really kind of pioneered some of this stuff in terms of the volunteer work. And we have Devin McNulty DeMarco on the call, who is our volunteer manager. And I'd love to turn it over to her to talk a little bit about our history and how our process works in bringing on groups and invite and introduce our special guests.
Hi, everybody. Yeah, my name is Devin. I'm the Volunteer Services Manager. You also may hear someone on the call call me Dobbin. So that's another nickname that you might hear, hear from someone on the call. Um, yeah, Dobbin. Yeah. So yeah, I been here for 3.5 years. It'll be 4 years at the end of July. When I came onto my role, we already had established relationships with two groups, My Choice and Steps, and they already had set schedules of when they came in to volunteer. And then about, I would say 8 or 9 months after I started, we welcomed our third group that came in, and that was Welcome House. And then I don't know what happened, but word got out that we were a volunteer option for groups that work with individuals with developmental disabilities, and it's blown up. It's blown up in the best possible way. We now have active 15 groups that come in here every month. And how it actually works is that we have two set Friday mornings that are saved for these groups to come in and volunteer. The main volunteer projects that we have them do is stickering. We want every single book that we distribute to have our logo on them so people know where they came from and how they can get more books and how to get involved. So stickering is the favorite project for these groups. So they simply take our books, whether they could be some new books that we distribute or some gently used books, and they put our logo stickers in the bottom left corner of the book. And whatever they can do during that time is a huge help for our production and our program. So whether they sticker, let's say, one box or 10 boxes or whatever they can do that day, it's incredibly helpful. We also welcome them to take books if they'd like to, whether it's something for themselves or for someone else that they know. And those shifts are very popular. As I said, they're two Friday mornings. So if anyone wants to find out more about those, sign up, or want to know about all of our volunteer opportunities, they can connect with me. I'll put my email in the chat. Yeah, and as I said, we're a welcoming space, and we play good music, have snacks, and they are appreciated and they are valued, and we love having them here. And yeah, if anyone has any questions, let me know. But that's pretty much the gist of it. And I'm happy that some of our participants are on the call now. So we have Stephanie, Joe, Carissa, and Jameson. They are here on Friday afternoons typically. If you are here on a Friday afternoon, Joe might sing for you all and dance for you all. He is our Friday joy. Yeah, and thank you everybody for joining.
You sing on Fridays?
Yes.
Yes, thanks so much for joining us, you guys. And Stephanie, if you want to lead us a little bit about what the experience is like for you, and then we can turn to each of them to tell us a little bit about their favorite part and what excites them about coming to the Kids Book Bank.
Okay. Well, I'm Stephanie Caldwell. I am an independent provider in Cuyahoga County, and I work with Joe. He keeps fading in and out. Joe, Carissa, and Jameson. We started coming in 2019 at the old place with My Choice. And then we actually volunteered there during one of the days of service for the county board. And then we really just kind of built a relationship from there. So we had then started coming every Friday afternoon. So Fridays, what do we do before we go to the book bank?
Work.
What do we do before we go to the book bank?
Yeah.
Out to
But big out to eat.
Yes, so Fridays we go out to eat for a good lunch, and then we go to the book bank from 1 to 3. And really that's been our consistent schedule since 29, well, since COVID, since you guys reopened with COVID. We love the new space. Carissa can talk a little bit more about how better accessible it is. Um, we just, for me, like the relationship that, these individuals that have formed with you guys, Joe is very motivated by working, and to him, going to the book bank, having a work shirt, even when he ripped a hole in his shirt, he got another one. Having his winter hat with the book bank logo on it, like it just shows that he belongs and that he's a part of the community. And I know that that's really important for him.
But big.
He loves, if you ask him his favorite place to volunteer, it's always the book bank.
With Dobbin.
He loves his Dobbin. He's very motivated by the snacks, but he knows what do you have
Calling
to
mom.
do? What do you have to do before you get a snack?
Work hard.
He has to work hard. And then we've worked on, independently going up to Devin and telling, what do you tell Devin?
All done.
All done. And
Good for you.
so proud of you. So, I mean, that just to me is just hands down an example of, a perfect collaboration, a perfect relationship. Like, we don't feel like we're volunteers, like we really feel like we belong. And, I can't thank you guys enough for, accepting us and allowing us to be a part of things and just making everybody feel warm and welcome. Look at
We love,
giving
we
me
love
hugs.
dance and doing it. And Carissa, tell us a little bit about how you like the new space, as well as like what your favorite parts are. And Jameson, you can chime in too. We love having you.
So, what do you like about the book bank?
Where I have clean and the place is
How clean the place is.
Yeah.
yes.
The other place was a little dusty.
Yeah.
And I love how like the bathroom is accessible. Sure, it's like not, and how there's a button, that opens up the door, even though the little ramp is a little not the best, but it's accessible. And
Yeah,
how
we're
and how Devin and the gang always included us, always listened to us, and if they didn't understand us, they'd always ask us again before looking at Stephanie or asking someone else what we said. They'd get to know what we said, and I appreciated that.
Hey, what's your favorite part of the book bank? What do you like to do with the book bank?
Book.
What do you do with the books? You put them
Bat.
in the box or the bin, and then what do? You carry
Bat.
the box. He's our material handler, so he loves anything where he's carrying a lot of weight. So he's always moving our boxes, putting them on a cart for Steve.
Muscle Joe is sometimes what we'll call it, Muscle Joe.
He always brings his muscles.
And I enjoy
ahead.
the books and like separating them.
Mhm. And I think another big part, Jameson, you can probably add, Jameson has been working on his reading because he wants to take his temps test. So he was working with a tutor for a while, but even when on the days he's not there, Carissa might see a book that he might be interested in, so she'll take it home and then they read together and they're practicing. So, I think especially with the individuals that we work with, literacy typically has been something that's been glossed over. And, in work in the work world and the adult world, you see how much it's really a skill that's needed. So for them to have the opportunity to practice literacy in whatever way that is for them is just pretty amazing. So, Jameson, do you think that being at the book bank and reading the books from there is helping you?
Yes. Yeah. Where where I think the book, I think Carissa it do the job for me.
Carissa does a good job bringing home the books for you.
Yes. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Well, we love having you. You're welcome anytime. And I know we'll be seeing you soon. And this is a celebration this month, but we celebrate you every day. We really do. We love having our groups. And Carissa, you are such an inspiration, and I loved hearing your story. And if you haven't heard Carissa's story, I encourage you. Maybe we'll have another call special for that. Did you want to share more?
And like I
Yes.
said, to go to what Janet said about disability, like I say, not handicapable, and I don't have a disability. I have a different ability.
That's absolutely true. I love that. Well, our groups with different abilities are welcome, like Devin said. And if we grow it, we can grow it. We'll make space for all of our friends. So thank you so much. I'm going to turn it over to Leslie for Q&A and to kind of wrap us up.
Well, I just want to say it's so nice seeing everyone, and you guys always bring a smile to my face when I'm in the warehouse with everyone. Does anyone have any questions? I've got one if nobody has one to start off, but if you do, you can either just unmute yourself and ask or drop it in the chat. There could be questions for any of us. So my question was back for Janet. Earlier, Janet, you said that I think that your services have increased, or the people that you're serving has increased since 2005. And I was just curious what you attribute that to.
I attribute that to just the rising population in some of our suburbs and some of our zip codes. We have done a lot of data management in terms of specific zip codes and where people are at, and concentrated community awareness efforts. What we look for resource fairs, we look for bringing our universal changing table, bringing our mobile sensory space, bringing our assistive technology vehicle to any and all places. Those are all new since 2021. So I think just that getting out there in the community and then identifying those underserved populations and making sure that we get to those locations have done that. I also think our eligibility team now is much more community-based than before, right? If you expect people to come to you to do some eligibility work, that's just a barrier. We know that with people's work and transportation and other life type of things. So we are more community-based in terms of getting out there into the community. I think that's both of those, yeah.
And you mentioned the employment collaborative. Are there resources to pay employees and things like that, or how does that work? How do we encourage more employment?
Yes. So it really starts with planning, right? It starts with empowering people, people using their voice to advocate for things that they want. I ran our adult services program here for 5 years before we privatized, and it really is a concerted and intentional conversation about employment, because many people who go to their adult day program say, I'm going to work, right? They're used to, I pack my lunch, I go to work, I talk to my supervisor, but that's not competitive integrated employment. And so it really starts with your family at home, hammering that through transition age, but really through your support administrator, having those conversations about competitive integrated employment. And so the way things used to happen, frankly, would be you would have a job coach, right, with a list of people that they were on their caseload, and they would prepare them for to get them with their application and their interview skills, but they also had to go out and find the job for them. So now what my staff does, I have a staff of 7 workforce development staff, is they do 95% of all the business engagement in Cuyahoga County. So we took that off of the job developers. So they just prepare the person and we engage the business to prepare the business for the person. It's really worked out very, very collaboratively.
Well, we look forward to learning more about that here at the Kids Book Bank, and I hope others hearing this call will consider how to bring in, everybody together, right? To have spaces, welcoming and inclusive spaces, to have employment opportunities, volunteer opportunities for everyone.
We actually have a hiring event happening right now. We did one at the Brown Stadium, and now there's one at the Huntington Convention Center for hospitality. So restaurants and hotels are there right now. So we have a number of those throughout the year. Just check out our website.
Wonderful.
Great. Any other questions or thoughts? Just anything anybody wants to share before we wrap up?
Where do you get your donations from?
It's a great question. Natalie, did you? Sorry.
I can say it. Thank you, Christine. Our donations of books come from mostly the community. So we have 22 bins across Cuyahoga County and beyond that individuals can take the books that they're no longer using and put in there, and then we go around and collect them. We also have wonderful organizations that do book drives for us, and we are always in need of books. There are some used bookstores that we will bring in books from there, but most of them are coming in from the community.
And then where do the books go? How do people get your books?
Yeah, so anyone who's working with children and families can go on our website and request books by reading level for either pickup or delivery. And that's how we connect with partners that are serving families, so that there's a caring adult distributing the books and being able to follow up and make sure that they're able to choose what books out of their collection, and making sure that they're, the right reading levels.
Okay, so how would I find a drop off?
Leslie just put in the chat. Leslie, you want to go over that?
Yeah, I've actually just put 2 links in the chat, Christine. One is to the book collection bin locations. There's probably one near you. We also accept donations Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 at our warehouse and office space, and I'll drop the address in just a second. Those are the easiest ways to do it. Those collection bins are really convenient.
Very good. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you. Just wanted to share that, well, thank you obviously all for joining us. Our next event is actually an in-person event, Books and Brunch, at our warehouse on Thursday, March 26th. And we will share a little more in that event about what's going on at the Kids Book Bank, what's new, ways you can get involved. It's a chance to come see our new space. If you haven't been there, we have a nice brunch. We have a good time meeting people and finding out how people might be interested in getting involved. So we'll do a follow-up email to everyone, and that will include all these links and information. So we hope we'll see you again. And next month, our Lunch and Learn Zoom program is focused on, Natalie, help me. Oh, it's National Library Month. Woohoo!
Yes, National Library Month.
So that'll be a great tie-in, obviously, to literacy and reading. We'll be talking with some partners at the libraries. So keep an eye on our socials, and if you don't get our newsletter, you can sign up for that at kidsbookbank.org. And we send just a monthly newsletter. We don't overwhelm you, but it has all of kind of the hot stuff happening here at the book bank.
Thank you all so much for getting on the call. Thank you, Janet and the Cuyahoga Developmental Disabilities. Thank you so much, Stephanie and Joe and Carissa. I mean, we just
What's up?
Thank
Miko.
So see you soon, and we're looking forward to next Friday here with our group from Cuyahoga Developmental Disabilities, and they're sponsoring the day there.
Awesome. Thanks for letting us come on. Nice to see everybody.